Welcome back to another episode of Profitable Publishing. Today we are sharing a success story from an author named Kendra Pecci. She actually used my book, Profitable Publishing with Preorders, to help her to be able to make $4,000 within her first 4 weeks as an author. And some of that time includes her pre-order period. And so you're going to hear directly from her about her thoughts before understanding the pre-order process, as well as how she participated in my 4-day pre-order profits challenge and how that helped her to be able to reach a result as well. So take a listen and be sure to share with an author friend as well.
So thank you so much for joining me today to talk
Yeah.
about just your experience with the challenge and then also the book
Here's
as
the book.
well.
I have it. All of my marks.
Oh, look at your tabs. Yes, I love
This never
it.
is far from myself as I've been writing. So
As
it's
your
always
reach, yeah. I love
yeah.
that. I love that. Yeah, so okay, you were saying that when you attended the challenge, because you attended it back in the spring,
Mhm.
that after attending, you grabbed the replays, you were VIP for the challenge, just for context for people who are watching this. And then you actually won a copy of the book as a part of just participating because you were just already being an A+ student during the challenge. And so talk to me about how you felt as you were drafting your book and thinking of, okay, how am I going to get my book out there? How am I going to actually get in front of people? What was kind of your mindset before you joined the challenge?
The challenge. Actually, yeah, thank you for doing that because putting me in that mindset, you changed me so fundamentally, I forget there was a before. But there was a before. And I absolutely thought that if I were going to do pre-sales, I would do them on Amazon. I was definitely one of those people, which is ridiculous because I am in the thriller and mystery suspense category. I'm going up against Frida McFadden and Stephen King. Why did I think bestseller status was going to be, on my radar? I mean, I didn't really think it, but I just thought Amazon was where it had to be, and getting those reviews was where I had to be. So that was my idea. And I came to the challenge actually assuming you were going to speak about that, about kind of, I didn't even really fully understand that there were other options that
Mm-hmm.
made more business sense. And I will say that that's when, in the very first day of the challenge, when the light bulb went off for me, you're very good at walking people through what all the options are for a pre-order and what the ramifications of those options are. And I'm a business person. I have been in companies. I've helped run companies. I've done all these things, and I approach things from a professional perspective. And when you did that and you switched my mindset to you're running a business here, which I knew, but I thought the business was to get as many reviews on Amazon and as many pre-sales on Amazon as I could before.
Yeah.
The minute you switched that for me, I was all in. I mean, it was a game changer. So.
Good. And that's funny. I didn't even know that part of like you having the business mindset and having that experience in your, I'm assuming 9 to 5 life or in your
Yeah.
personal life or former 9 to 5.
Former 9 to 5,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
So,
yeah, so that's just confirmation. And you're totally not alone when thinking that Amazon is your only option. That's something that most authors, most
mhm.
self-published authors, they assume that's their only option, and it's not even something on their radar to even consider something outside of that for pre-orders. Of course, we still consider Amazon a good option for general sales in addition to
Oh,
other
absolutely.
platforms,
Yeah.
because you want to diversify your options. But yeah, most authors feel like they only can do Amazon or that they can only do crowdfunding. They
Mhm.
are not really aware of that, so you're not alone in that sense. So
That's
don't
good.
beat yourself up about
Well,
that.
thank you. Let me back up a little bit further. One, I've started writing 27 years ago. So I wrote two novels way back in the day. They did not get traditionally published. I tabled it for a while as I needed to turn my focus on my family and then came back to it. I always thought traditional publishing was going to be my only path. I
Mhm.
never considered anything else. And it wasn't, I spent about a year learning a lot of things, and it wasn't until December 6th last year that I switched and made the decision to go indie publishing.
Mhm.
When I did that, I literally threw away the last copy of my book I had and started over. So I have spent, and that's context for you for two reasons. One is to
Okay.
tell you why I didn't get everything perfect, and two to tell you why um, I was amazed and how helpful your book was because I went from, I described the last, it's now 10 months, it will be 11 months to the day between when I made the decision to do this and I'm publishing. Um, it is like riding a roller coaster while I was learning how to build a roller coaster and building it at the same time.
Yes.
That's what my last, 10, 11 months have been. So there were so so I was just a sponge for information when I came to your challenge and read your book because I realized, everything I'd been thinking had been about traditional publishing and that needed to change. So
Yeah, and that's important context as well because once again, typically authors assume, self-published indie authors assume, even though I'm not traditionally published, I need to operate as if I am. So I need to follow this blueprint that they've created and I need to try to copy what's already been laid out there. And often that doesn't work. It isn't always something where you're not going to have as much access to certain things that they have. You're not going to have, well, first of all, if you're a lesser known traditionally published author, you're not going to have that big marketing
right.
machine anyway. But
The
it's just
reason
this,
I finally decided to go ahead and go go indie, I'm like,
yeah,
oh, I'm not going to get this big team of people
right.
yet.
So it's like, if that's the case, I'm going to have to do it myself anyway. Why not
Mhm.
keep all of my royalties and
Yep.
things of that sort? But yeah, so many self-published authors, so many indie authors assume that they have to follow this path that's been laid out for traditional publishing, and that's just really not the case. And trying to do that often leads to frustration. It often leads to less income for yourself because you're so boxed into how many page reads did I get or how many books did I sell, and not really looking at the income that's tied to that and associated to that. So, you had mentioned this before, but you talked about how the challenge in the book opened your eyes to just another option. Can you talk more about that in terms of how things were? You mentioned before, but how did it transform you after attending the challenge, even during the midst of it?
Yeah, I appreciate it because they were both. I mean, the challenge was amazing, but I would have purchased your book if had I not, received one for free. I was grateful for it, but it was
Mhm.
also a great example for me to see how you bundled your pre-orders. So
Right, yes.
I was like, oh, this is perfect. I get to see how it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, the biggest change for me was realizing I can and should. I think I might have known I can, but I can and should run my pre-orders from my website.
Hmm.
Um, and I believe as I was in your challenge, I think I had hired a professional designer to design my website. She might have been working on it at the exact same time.
Okay.
So I remember calling her as your challenge and going, never mind. I said I didn't want a shop set up. I want a shop set up. You're gonna need
Yes.
to do that too.
Yeah, yeah.
So she did that from then on. And then it just became the how. So once you switched that mindset to me, then it became how am I going to do this? And
Hmm.
with the incredible challenge I had ahead of me, because I was still writing the book, editing the book,
Yeah,
trying very hard to get it out
yeah.
and meet a schedule. So that became the how. And that's where your book, and I should also say following you on social media, has really, really helped with the how. I can tell you're a teacher. I'm like, she doesn't miss a beat. She repeats things. She makes sure you get them. There's supplemental information.
Yeah,
There's an
yeah.
answer for every question in this material in your challenge. And so it's been, like I said, it's been my Bible that I've used while I've done my pre-orders.
Thank you. And we're not being sacrilegious here. I'm a believer.
No, I'm sorry.
Not to that extent. No,
I
you're
am, I
good. No,
mean,
no, like I get it.
look,
I just, for viewers, like you're
the
using
whole
it as
shelf of religious material. I have a degree in
yeah,
it, but
yeah.
yeah, no.
No, yeah. And when you said that to me, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry. Just to know that the resource is there for you and others, and just the response that you gotten from or the response that I've gotten from it to just see how it's actually impactful and helped folks, that is just really confirmation for me. And just lets me know that it's worth it. All the toiling and the process
Yeah, can't imagine.
are definitely worth it. And so I know that for you, you mentioned you were writing the book while doing your pre-order, and
Mhm.
that's a strategy that I recommend and suggest,
Mhm.
as well as teach people how to do that inside of the Pre-Order Profits course and inside the accelerator
Mhm.
that is opening during the challenge timeline. And so, how is that for you? Because that tends to be something where authors are a little hesitant of, okay, am I really going to be able to do my marketing and my publishing at the same time? What was your experience with using that strategy?
Um, it was good, and I 100% was on board and knew I agreed with you and I knew I needed to do it. I just couldn't quite get my feet under me. My writing and publishing schedule was shockingly short
Hmm.
to begin with. So I think what I and the difference that it made for me and some of your encouragement, and I tried to write down an example, um, was when I finally realized I may not be able to follow this exactly because I
Hmm.
have a different strategy for my first book than I will for my second.
Hmm.
But I knew it was essential, so it was important that I take the time to do it.
Hmm.
And so I started the newsletter and I started some light social media. What I really liked is when you're talking about finding your ideal, your book and in the challenge, you give very specific information, which I have to tell you of all the other resources I've never seen. I love people that
Oh,
go find that perfect person. And then you go, how do I do that?
yeah,
So
yeah.
your Google searches, I loved you saying having coffee with a friend or having coffee with someone and sitting down and talking to them about it
Hmm.
because I'm aware that my ideal reader is actually somebody who is a friend of mine.
Hmm.
This is a first book. It's a fiction book. It's a book that I would read. So
Right,
I
yeah.
was able to kind of approach my friends and interview them and say, how do
Hmm.
you get books? How do you get recommendations? They all said from you, and I'm like, okay, well, thanks. But
Like the
I think
circular logic is not helpful.
right, exactly. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But so it became apparent to me that this book and only this book, I will largely focus on friends and family first.
Hmm.
So when I realized that and kind of appreciated the backup in attracting your reader and nurturing your reader, all of your fans program, I I then shifted my marketing. I set up, like I said, I set up the pillars. I have a newsletter. I
Hmm.
have all those things, but I focused on my friends and family
Yeah, yeah.
because they have for 27 years been supporting me and waiting and for the
Hmm.
day for a real book to
Yeah.
come out. So
Yeah.
that helped me. It took the pressure off a little bit.
Hmm.
And I said, okay, I know these people are going to buy my book. So let me file that away in my brain
Right.
and
Yeah.
nurture them. And it was easier to approach people that I knew and put on Facebook and do things about, yeah, I'm finally writing this book. It really is going
Hmm.
to come out. I really am going to publish it and get those people kind of cheering for me in advance.
Yeah, and I love that you said that you mentioned this a little bit earlier before we started. Um, the fact of you modified it. So the system that I use, the pre-order profit system, is one that, of course, I give structure, I give guidelines, I give steps and things that you need to do. However, it's flexible. It's
Mhm.
something that you can adjust for yourself and your family life that you have going on. I have two kids under 5. And throughout my pre-orders, there's been times I've been a full-time stay-at-home mom. There's been times I've been working full-time and still have released books and made profits. And so it doesn't have to be so strict and so rigid that you're not able to adjust for your life and what you have going on.
Exactly.
And so you also mentioned how so even though you may not have followed everything to a T, you still put structures in place. You still created that email
Absolutely.
service provider system, which is one of the strategies we share, and then
Mhm.
also tying it to your social media strategy. And so now that you have that foundation, how do you feel like that will impact your future releases?
Oh, I'm going to blow it out of the water. So from this point forward, my book releases in 2 more weeks or 3 more weeks. I'm losing count. When my book releases, I will turn from worrying about this book and getting it out to my friends and family. There will be a marketing push to get it out to strangers at that point, but
Hmm.
then everything is going to be working on that pre-order mentality and focused on finding my new readers.
Hmm.
So I've sold 150 books so far in my pre-sales.
Yes. And you've only been pre-selling since it's been a little over a week, right? At this point?
Yeah, I'm at about 10 days.
Yeah,
So
10 days, 150 copies. And
on
let's reiterate, 150 copies on your website.
my
That means
website,
these are deposits happening.
100% of the money is coming to me from my website.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not having to share. Of course, you'll have to pay for print costs, but you're
Mhm.
not having to share distribution. You are handling it, managing it, and you're getting the money now as opposed to waiting the 60 days that Amazon might charge, or not
Right.
might charge, but they might have you wait. Or if you
They
were to
wait.
do a Kickstarter, having to wait that 60 days and even having having it to be where your campaign is fully funded because even if 5 people bought your book, you were going to get that money. And
Right.
so Thank goodness it was more than five.
Yeah, I'm
So
very
that's
glad. And I have
exciting.
a few more days, I have 2 more weeks left to push it.
Hmm.
So I'm fairly confident. I think I'll sell another 50 books.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
printed
I mean,
200 so
every day
far.
you've been updating me, and so it's fun to watch the
Yeah.
journey.
But
Are you comfortable sharing amounts just yet, or do you want to wait until?
no, I don't mind.
Okay,
Of course, I should have had it right in front of me. I'm sorry, I didn't. I know
it's
I'm
okay.
over 3,000, but let me get the exact number here because it changes by the minute. Yes, I'm at $3,300 and change.
Yes, that's
So
exciting. That's a
that is gonna,
salary
it's
for some
paying for my
folks, but
whole pre-launch party, and
yeah,
I got a ticket to Alaska where I'm going to launch the book because that's where I'm from
yeah, yeah.
originally. So yeah, it's covering all of it. I'm excited about
Yeah. And that's amazing. And so, like, the fact that essentially it creates a system where now you can rinse and repeat this for each book that you
it.
release, even if it's a slightly different audience, since you mentioned you're going to shift your audience to focus more on others who are not your friends and family. But you have the system that you can repeat. And each time you do it using the pre-order profit system, it gets easier. You get better at it. There's been times where you've shared, like, oh, next time I'm going to do this,
Yeah,
or
I'm very excited about next time. I mean,
yeah.
I will be able to implement so many more of those pillars,
Hmm.
and going through, the sneak peeks and getting people excited ahead of time, and I will have something to point them to. I've got social proof. You talked about it. I have social proof in my hand that I
Yeah.
wrote a book and that it's
Yeah.
real and it's going to happen again. And a lot of those friends are going to be readers,
Hmm.
so they will share the information, and I know that, but I'm fine going now. I get to go after the new people, and I'm
Yeah.
excited about that.
Yeah.
And
And
create a
so,
real bundle. That's the other thing. That was the biggest thing I will tell you that I was stressed about,
okay.
because you had all these great ideas for bundles, and I was revising my book and working on all these things, and my brain just couldn't do it all at
Yeah.
once.
Hmm.
And I finally just decided the people who are going to buy this book from me are going to buy it because I wrote it and they want a signed copy.
Hmm.
And they don't really care about anything else, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And so I just threw the book up, same price that it's going to be available from Amazon,
Hmm.
with a signed copy, and they're
Hmm.
paying for shipping. And I'm like, that's enough. Let it be
Yeah.
enough
Yeah.
to get that out the door. And I was right. So, but next time I get to do all the other fun stuff, and
Yes.
find really
Yeah.
creative ways to pay people back and to thank them for buying my book. So I'm
Yeah, for
excited
being a part
about
of
that.
the experience. Yeah,
So.
and the thing is, it's okay if your pre-order is just your book. Many authors are like, well, I don't want to try to sell anything that's tied to my book. I just want to focus on selling the book. And some of them don't even want to sell the book, but those are not the people we're talking to
Yeah, I don't.
that are
I
like, I don't
really
want to
want
keep
people to
updating.
sell their book. You've worked really hard to write your book.
Yes,
Please,
yes,
please
that's a
let me sell
mindset I don't
it.
understand.
Yeah.
But like, yes, it's okay if your pre-sale is just strictly your book because you can still generate income from that. You can still use that to cover. You said you're covering your launch party. It's an
Mhm.
in-person launch party. You're covering a flight. You're in
Mhm.
Texas. You're going to Alaska, and it's just like these are real funds that you can use
Yeah.
continuously. So if you decide to keep your book on your website and still generate that, or if you shut it
Yeah, I
down,
will. No, I'm
that's
going to keep the signed copy on my website.
okay. And
I mean,
so,
I don't think there'll be a lot of activity, but it doesn't cost me anything to keep it there.
yeah, yeah,
So as
yeah.
people discover it, if they want to come and buy a signed copy, great. But yeah, the
Right.
the
Yeah.
rest will in future books.
Yeah, yeah. And so I'm excited. So definitely keep me posted on that. But I do want to ask you, so what do you feel like was the most impactful strategy that you either learned from the challenge or from the book?
Okay, I read a lot of notes. Okay, so I'm going to tell you, it was kind of a one-line comment in your book, but also saved me. So I struggled mightily with technology, with how to use Canva and do all those things again, while I was also trying to write the book. And I
Hmm.
knew the book needed to be great. That was more important than anything else for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and so I really did try. I tried so hard to learn Canva, and I took courses and all these things, but it wasn't easy for me to do. And you
Hmm.
have a line in your book when you said live video is the best one to choose if you can only do one.
Yeah.
And I embrace that and thank you for that permission.
You're
And
welcome.
I didn't even know how to do a live video, I will be honest
Hmm.
with you. But I was like, we're going to figure this out. I set it
Yeah.
up and I've done two so far that have been tremendously successful.
Hmm.
And I did them in one take. I'm like, I'm not going to
Yeah.
be, you know,
Yeah,
I'm
I
not who
watched.
I am, So that was just great because again, it was another step where the pressure kind of went off of me. And I'm
Hmm.
like, okay, I can do this. I can just set up a camera and talk into it
Yeah.
and tell people I'm excited. And I did my book reveal on a video
Yeah.
when it
Yeah.
was mailed to me. So that was that permission. I love the whole fans approach. I like your
Hmm.
structure. I like the foundation, but then like I said, it's these nuggets of gold kind of dripped in throughout of all of it that just tell you you can do this no matter what.
Yeah.
Right? No matter what your obstacles are, no matter what how much time you have, no matter what you know or what you don't. The technology was killing me.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember you
Killing
posting
me.
about that. Yeah.
And so I can still do it. So those like videos are great and I'm gonna keep them up. I've loved it.
Yeah, and you were very authentic, which I think is why those videos resonated so well with folks. And one of them, I remember you mentioned that you just had such a tough time with trying to set up something, I think, on your site, and then were able to get it, but you were like, I almost didn't show y'all this book because
I
I
really was. I was so mad. I almost didn't open the book when I
Yeah, but I mean that's so relevant. Like people get that. They're just like even I think even with the pandemic and everybody just being online for so long, we just get that like tech just does what it wants to do sometimes. Like you could be
yeah.
following the directions to a T and sometimes it doesn't cooperate. And so that realness, people just get it. And then when you moved into the excitement, like people are excited for you. They're like asking, "Okay, when can I buy my copy?" in the
Right.
comments. And so
Right.
um, and I think that's just such a triumphant situation because you have been producing this book for so long. And so people are like, okay, I'm waiting, I'm ready. And you did your marketing in a way that was fitting for you. And
Mhm.
you didn't try to be anybody else who you didn't need to be. And I think that's another thing that from other programs that I've seen is that the structure can be, oh, you have to do things just like me, as opposed to you have to do things in a way that is your own with
Mhm.
the structure and the foundation that's here, but make it your own. And so you did a great job with that.
Well, thank you. Well, it's because I was following you. I mean, like I said, all the information you have about finding what resonates with you, getting, doing something that's authentically you, working, which platform do you like? Where do you want to
Hmm.
spend your time? You're gonna
Hmm.
have to spend time marketing. Where do you want to
Yeah.
do it? In a newsletter, in a video, on Instagram, where's it going to be?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yep.
it's
Love
helpful.
it. Okay, one last question. Let me pick a good one. All right, so I know that, so for you, just to reiterate, you did the VIP option for the challenge and you used the book as your resource, the Profitable Publishing Preorders.
Yes.
And I know at the time you didn't join the course or the accelerator, but if you were talking to someone who was interested in it, and just for context, for those who might be new to this, so the way that I structured it, as Kendra mentioned, I have a teacher's heart. I'm an educator by trade and have a master's in curriculum instruction. The way that I structured it is that the book is if you want to follow the steps, do it yourself, you'll get the structure and the help that you need there. It's kind of like I'm in your head. But if you're like, I really need you to be in my head and be with me, then I do offer the accelerator version, the Preorder Profits Accelerator, or the self-paced course, which is an extension of those, and additionally VIP days where it's just one-on-one. So I structured it where it is either you can do it DIY with just the book, grab the course to get a further breakdown of the strategies. So some of the tech that you might have been experiencing, that would be something that would be walked with a walkthrough in the course, and then an extension of that is the accelerator where we're meeting up together, like, okay, let's fix your tech, that kind of stuff. Or the one-on-one option is we're just going to do your tech for you so you don't have to worry about it. So just kind of go
That
over
would be
that.
great.
Yeah. So what would you say to somebody, a friend and a fellow author? I know you have a community of authors as well, who is maybe on the fence about signing up for the Pre-Order Profits course, accelerator, or VIP day. How would you, what would you share with them to let them know whether or not it's a good choice for them?
I There are, in fact, I think it's a great choice for almost everybody. I think there's a very slim group of the population. And again, I'm a professional. Ironically, I used to also do tech in a company. So my tech problems were because the technology said they did something and I had to take screenshots of their websites and then they go, oh, we actually don't do that. And I'm like, well,
Got it.
thanks. So,
Okay.
so I am good with tech. But so there is a community of authors out there who are good at marketing and like creating in Canva and all those as well
Hmm.
as writing. But if you are not in that, what, 1% of people, this is where your money should go. And I mean that wholeheartedly. And I would have joined the accelerator program, except that I had thrown all my marketing dollars at getting my website established.
Yeah, we had talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was where I needed to spend my money in 2025. So the reason is, although the website's fantastic and I love my designer and I love my website, um, when you work with you, and I can only imagine. I mean, I did spend the last few months going, I really wish I joined the accelerator program. I really do, wish
Well,
I had
next
that
book,
constant
you're
fill.
welcome to come on
That's what
over.
I'm really considering.
Yeah.
Um, Talk about an investment, a return on an investment. Talk about an ROI because you can see it. This
Hmm.
will not be something, so many things in writing are a leap of faith. And you're
Yeah.
investing in yourself and you're getting your book coaches and you're working on your editing and your cover design. Is this working? I don't know. I hope this pays dividends.
Hmm.
Your course, your material, and I know what it's like from reading this, but working with you and following this, you get that ROI immediately. I cannot imagine, I know caveats need to exist, right?
Right.
So
Yes. Yes.
it does depend what effort somebody is willing to put in
Right.
partnering with you and being a
Yeah.
good partner. But hard to imagine, hard to imagine someone who wouldn't see a profit turned off of joining your accelerator course, even doing your one on whatever
Hmm.
level they choose, and being able to put these strategies into place. So, and then once you learn them, then the next year, then it just builds on itself. But
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would absolutely recommend, and strongly recommend people do this. I have done courses. I've spent 2 years learning everything there is to learn about writing and publishing and all of the
Hmm.
things. And this book and interacting with you and working with you as I have, and wishing I had done the accelerator was the best, most profitable thing I've done. So
And
thank you.
now I'm gonna cry.
Well, I'm dead serious, and it's the reason I wanted to
Oh,
come on here and tell you and shout it from the rooftops and continue to shout it from the rooftops because it's been phenomenal. So
thank you.
it's made a huge
Um,
difference in my author journey.
and that's big.
It is. It means
I'm
everything.
working on like accepting compliments and just saying thank you.
Yes, we're women. Please work on that
Yes.
because it's genuine. No one's
Yes.
paying me to be here. I didn't have any reason to reach out to you except that I love your work and it's been life-changing for me. So thank you
Thank
very much.
you. I appreciate that. And we need to get you in the accelerator next time because I'm just
We do.
excited.
So I got it. More books to sell. And then
Yes,
yes, I
yeah.
will. I would, God, what a gift that would be. I would be so excited for myself. So it is my plan to
Yeah,
try to do
yeah.
that next time. So
I appreciate that because it's it's really hard to combat like scammers if
mhm.
because so many authors are just so jaded and just like, okay, this person's in my inbox trying to
Right.
sell me something. And they send messages to me too. They're like, do you need help with your marketing? I'm like, did you even read my profile? You clearly are not good at marketing if you are asking me if I need help with my marketing for my books. Um, and not to sound arrogant, but just like literally you haven't done one of the first rules of marketing, which is like understanding your audience. And
Mhm.
so when it comes to this, I really wanted to make the Pre-Order Profits program, the whole ecosystem, to be something that was beneficial, something that was practical, something that people felt like was attainable, even if they weren't necessarily good at marketing, but they still felt like it was approachable. And so, like you've shared your results, and then someone else reached out to me earlier this week and said they made 4,100 from her pre-order. Hers is wrapped up now, but she joined the accelerator and she just was like, I mean, yeah, just like you mentioned, you can rinse and repeat this. So
Mhm.
when you look at it, it's not just the investment, the initial investment, it's a rate of return for all of the books that you decide to
It really
publish.
is. I mean, it is a game changer. And if people, I feel bad. I see so many people out there on threads and these places go, no, I don't have sales. I don't have sales and I don't know what I'm doing. And I understand the struggle and I
Hmm.
understand that it's hard to come up with, the finances and the things and or to choose. Like you're saying, there's so many people in your face all the time going, I can help, I can help, I can.
Hmm.
No, I've been out there. I've seen the breadth and the depth of it. This works, and working with you, and you're credible. You know what you're doing, and I love. And I will say this also. This a lot of this, your experiences in nonfiction,
Hmm.
and you have such great bundle ideas. I mean, you had me wanting to write a cookbook. I love to cook, and I'm like, dang, how did I write a book with no cooking in it? But they still work for fiction. They still work
Yes.
for everybody else. And so, gosh, yeah, if you're going to make an investment in yourself, which you should, you've already made all the time investment and all the energy and effort to write a book. This is the investment to make. I really do believe that.
Well, thank
So
you. I
you haven't
appreciate
seen the
that.
last of me. I'll get into that
Yeah.
accelerator program, I promise.
We'll be happy to have you. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you for everything.
No problem.
Okay.